How you doing, man?
I'm very well, Liz. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. It feels very surreal to be doing not only a podcast, but to be seeing you in the flesh, and to be doing it with an actual proper microphone, instead of... I mean, that's ruined the audio immediately.
Sorry.
But also to be doing it, with a proper microphone instead of my shitty little webcam.
Yes.
To have a camera pointing at us.
To have people watching us.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're one of the suckers that stuck with Podomatic, just listen to the audio, then we're very sorry that you've made such a terrible decision in your life. Why not get the full immersive experience?
Get the full shouting into the void experience. Look at a video of us. Yeah, so, in the true grapefruit fashion, what's our first segment today?
Grapefruit fashion?
Any citrus fruit would have done.
He
And I
actually
quite
said
like...
that?
Yes, I don't actually like grape... Do you have any grapefruit opinions?
I mean, I haven't even rolled the wheel yet, Lewis, and you're trying to impose this... Well, you were quite good at the 10-minute bullshit last time.
I was, yeah.
I suppose. But I already have something planned.
Okay.
I mean, the wheel is going to randomly...
The wheel has been preordained. Yeah.
So, we're seeing it for the first time live. I keep saying live, but it's live action, isn't it?
Yeah. I feel like this is live. I feel like this is a live... It's not, but I feel like it's a live stream.
There's no editing at all. So, you know, what you see is what you get.
Yeah, definitely. That's perfect. That does the job, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Oh. Love Island.
Love Island, the famous and infamous TV show.
Yeah, people watch that, don't they?
I do believe they do, yes.
Yeah, you watch that, don't you, in your house?
Yeah, all right.
I'm connecting with the
viewers.
viewers.
I see. You're creating a rapport between us and the viewers.
Because, see, now that we're actually filming, I can't hide my face with disdain and disappointment. I have to, present myself. Yeah.
To be quite honest, I have recorded most of the podcasts in my pajamas. This is one of the few that I've done in actual clothes.
Up, I wear this everywhere. This is my fancy get up.
You've pulled a Steve Jobs and you've got like 5 identical pairs of those trousers, 5 identical versions of that shirt.
Yeah. Like if I ever make it, I'm going to be like Ricky Gervais. Just in every talk show, he wears a black t-shirt, jeans, and trainers. This is it. This is what you're going to get. So Love Island.
I have never watched an episode of Love Island all the way through.
Oh, you lucky guy.
I know. I was on the sponsor thing. What's it called? Ident, that's the word. No, not Ident.
That was Uber Eats.
Yeah, Uber Eats, that was it.
Uber Eats, yeah.
I was on the Uber Eats sponsored bit on Love Island. So I watched an episode of Love Island until my thing came on, and I watched it and went, yep, that was alright, and then turned it off.
I remember that, and you didn't say, and I saw you on it, and I was like, it's Lewis.
I'm not him.
That's how that went. So Love Island, for those of you that don't know, is a television programme.
Yes.
Where I don't know how many strangers it has to begin with, but they go into this. It's not really an island. It's somewhere in Spain where they just go.
Right.
And there's this villa that they all go into, and basically it's a good few weeks of moderately attractive Instagram models.
All right.
Trying to shag each other.
Well, I have never been so excited to watch a TV show as what you've just made me by giving me that description.
No, but at first glance it just seems like a really tedious sort of love game type thing.
Right.
But I think it's actually quite intelligent because it takes human beings,
right,
breaks them down to their most feral state.
Okay.
To the point where they're just looking to mate. And, it's basically we've trapped these animals in this sort of caged area and we're watching them behave as animals would. And I've said many times, I'm going to say it again, that if David Attenborough was to narrate Love Island, I think it would be quite good.
Take over from Ian Sterling.
Yeah. Ian Sterling. Previously on Love Island. I hope I never meet him. I hope I never meet Ian Sterling.
I have met him. He's nice.
Is he?
Yeah, he's alright. He's alright.
Yeah.
He's quite funny.
Well, there you go.
End of statement.
How did you meet him?
He was on the Uber Eats thingy with me. I was like playing on a video game and he was sat in a cupboard.
Oh yeah, that's right. Is it? I smell a bromance.
Yeah, that's the one.
That was it. That was the line.
Executed perfectly. I'm stunned by that.
Yeah.
So is there any more bullshit you'd like to have about Love Island, or is that the end of the Love Island bullshit?
I'm trying to just shill some popularity points, Lewis, because I know that a lot of people like it. No idea what's going on this year.
Is it much different to previous years? I would imagine it's fairly repetitive.
Yeah, I think that. I don't think this was. I think it relies on consistency.
Yeah.
I don't think it likes to sort of shake things up.
Yeah, sure.
There's a thing. It's like Casa Amor, they call it, where like halfway through they'll introduce like 12 new people to mix things up a bit.
Ooh.
And they go to a smaller but equally excessive villa, and and some stay and some go, and then eventually 2 people remain.
You are really selling it to me, I've got to say.
Two people remain.
That's the thing I took away from it when I watched it very briefly, was the excess of it all.
Yeah.
Of not only is it these sort of stereotypically beautiful people that have been like handpicked, and it's like it is rats in a maze sort of thing, but it's also this villa they're in is very sort of luxurious in a weird way, and like the pool and the hot tub and stuff. It's like, do you not? Is there not a charity that could benefit from this in some way?
Yeah, I mean, like, it would be much better if they were like thrown into squalor, and they had to.
That would kind of be interesting, wouldn't it?
Then it would be like an animal show, or maybe just like a farm, or like a pigsty.
So what you're saying is you get like a dozen Instagram celebrities and invite them to work on a working farm.
Yeah, and they leave better and rounded people by the end of it, because all the luxury's been taken off them.
Yeah, that's reasonable. They've become less item based, more feeling based.
Yeah, less materialistic. That's the word.
That certainly is a word.
Yeah, it is. It is. This is quite surreal.
It is very surreal.
It's very. I don't feel. It doesn't feel right, Lewis. I need to be protected.
In a little bubble.
The screen.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone to see my face when I do this.
No, it is very surreal. You're right. It's I'm used to sitting at my desk, and then while you're on a rant about Love Island, I take a frustratingly loud sip of coffee that I then have to edit out.
Yeah.
But yeah. By the way, in terms of beautiful, in terms of the edit, this might sound terrible. It might look terrible. We don't know yet.
Yeah, that's
fingers crossed.
That's for you to decide.
Yeah, let us know.
Any more bullshit?
I've got
there
stuff
must be
about
some
things.
Bullshit.
There probably is some bullshit happening.
I mean, you'd think for the 20th episode we would have came up
with something interesting to do.
No, are we a sketch? No, fuck that. We're just gonna sit here and we're just gonna rant as we usually do. This is fun fact for you. This is the book that I use to write my notes in. I don't know if you can see that. Cameraman, could you zoom in for me, please? You'll notice that it didn't zoom because we don't actually have a cam. Yes,
we are the cameramen and the sound men and the lighting crew.
The production departments get really fucking boring on this show, and then so that's that beloved character I made up, Philip.
Yep.
Down at the bottom.
Beloved by billions.
Yeah. How long have we got left? He can't hide in this one. It's like it's all or nothing. So yeah, this is, and quite aptly I've ran out of space.
Oh, on 20.
This one, yeah. So I need to get another one.
Treat yourself.
Been
listening to a podcast about notebooks recently, and it's much less boring than you'd think.
No, go on.
No, I am spine-crushingly dull. I'm very aware of this. But yeah, they're talking about pens and stuff, and it's like, if you like pens, I'm there listening to it thinking, I know this is very dull, and I don't want anybody to catch me listening to it, because they would hear it and immediately fall asleep.
Yeah.
But I was there, sat there thinking, oh yeah, I'm enjoying this. So I'll send you a link to that podcast, and you listen to all 300 episodes, and then decide on a notebook to buy.
There you go.
I usually don't use a notebook to write down my notes, because I usually type them up, yeah, and so I have them on my laptop or I have them on my phone or whatever. But I thought it'd look a bit rude if I'm sat here and we're doing the podcast and I'm like, yeah, hi Barry, how are you, Paul? So instead, I've chosen this book.
Is there anything in it other than the notes that you scribbled down last night in a hurried fashion? I mean, the notes that you spent many hours collating.
There are an ungodly number of notes, so lots of stuff to get through.
Mine just looks like Arthur Fleck's joke book from Joker.
God, that was one of the things that stressed me out the most, was Arthur Fleck's joke book, and how he folded it. And,
yeah.
oh, that's just... I mean, I like that this is like... You couldn't crease it if you tried.
No.
There is other things in this.
Oh.
There's,
Dear Diary.
Dear Diary. No, mostly it's just me scribbling things down while I try and get pens to work. Yeah, and ideas about stuff. Writing. Then notes.
I've got this notebook that helps me determine whether my pens are working.
Oh God, that's frustratingly accurate.
Wow, that's amazing.
Because I'll be sat there going, "Oh, that's not right." So, what film are we talking about today, Daniel?
Oh, is that it?
Have a bit more bullshit if you want.
I mean,
I've had buckets of it there. That's 12 minutes.
I know, but we haven't really addressed those that are just listening to it.
That's very true. Go on, should we address them? What do you want to talk to them about?
How are you guys? You all right?
Yeah, let's get really nice and close to the microphone. I'm sure that'll make it sound fantastic.
We can do ASMR, right? So.
Hi guys, how are you today? I hope that you're enjoying this podcast.
You've made the wrong choice here, guys. Is that ASMR?
I think that's how ASMR works, yeah.
Yeah.
If you're not watching this on YouTube, you should be. Check it out on our YouTube. It's youtube.com. And then I don't know how the rest of the URL works, but if you go to it and you type in "shouting into the void,"
After the millions of of suggestions, you may get to the one with 11 subscribers right down at the bottom, and then it's all go from there, guys. So.
Yeah, if you scroll through every single video that's ever been posted on YouTube, eventually you might hit one of ours.
Yeah.
It's a 1 in a billion chance of listening to our podcast on YouTube.
That's why I chose the name for my YouTube channel, Ohiram. Because if you type in Ohiram, that's all you're gonna fucking get.
That's very true.
No one can copy that. Well, they might. Fucking don't. Right? I can see. I know which one it is. I can see it in his or her.
Their eyes.
Yes, their eyes.
Is that enough bullshit, or do you want a bit more? A bit more cheeky ASMR?
What else? Give me some bullshit. It's the 20th episode. We've put on some clothes.
We have.
We've washed our faces.
You've come from Glasgow to here.
I know that was an ordeal. Tell you that.
Yeah, we're in the Staffordshire Moorlands.
Yeah.
Which is where I live. Hobbiton, yeah.
It's been a long running joke, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm. That Simon Lowe does not believe that the Staffordshire Moorlands actually exist.
Yeah.
And they do exist because they're here. I'm in them.
There's no proof. Well,
yeah.
Not really. I mean, we could
be filming this in Bristol.
Yeah, exactly. But Bristol? Why Bristol?
First one that
How
came
do
to
people
mind.
in Bristol speak? Is that like Vicky Pollard?
I have no
from
idea.
Little Britain. You know, you know that one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, is that
I don't know. Maybe. If you're from Bristol, let us know.
Please do. Yeah, the train journey was alright.
Oh, that's good. Nice.
Yeah. Paid for business expenses, obviously.
I mean, it is kind of a business expense, though.
Yeah.
It is.
We can call it that if it makes you feel better. But
yeah, you came down last night.
That's right.
I went and picked you up from the train station. I had a moment where we were running towards each other on the platform, and it was like those movies where they run through like a field of wheat or something. They're running towards each other, and then they like hug. Yeah, that's what happens. That's what happened on the platform of the little train station there.
I've got a shit memory. I remember getting off the train and hitting you with my suitcase, and then saying, "Right, let's fucking get this over with." Right, let's record. And you were like, "No, we're not recording tonight. I thought we could just have a nice meal. You know, Chloe's here. We could, enjoy us." So, "Oh, we're not recording tonight." But I've got deer hunting in the morning.
Deer hunting? Do you like deer hunting?
Yeah.
How many deers have you killed? How many deer?
I didn't say I killed them.
That's the whole point of hunting, right? Is killing and eating whatever you're hunting.
Well, you let fish go, don't you?
Yeah, but I don't.
I
think if I was hunting for fish, I'd take them out the.
That's what I always thought fishing was. You just sort of catch them and go, and then let them go back.
I think people, if they're like fishing for sport, I think people do. But fishing for food, I guess they don't.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Oh, nice. You catch
Catch
deers.
live deer and say, look, there's a deer, and then let them go.
That would be a hassle, catching a live deer.
Yeah.
How would you do it? Or how do you do it in this
how
regular
do
pastime
I
of yours?
Do it? Well, it's all in the equipment.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yep.
So what you do is you find where some deer are, obviously.
Yeah, you have to find some deer.
Yeah, you need to know where they are. You need to know where they assemble. And then what you do is you.
Is that like a lorry?
Is that a lorry reversing?
Oh, good stuff.
It's me reversing from this joke. So, you do the deer mating call.
Okay, which is. I see.
That's the one.
I see. Yep.
I'm sure you enjoyed that, folks.
It's another bit of ASMR for you.
Um.
And then they flock to you by the dozen.
Yeah, what they do is they put their hands out and just say, right, okay, just cuff me, and then there's some deer, and then they go.
Cuff them.
Well,
They have hooves, right? So I feel like
can you not cuff hooves?
the entire point of a handcuff is that it goes around your wrist and you can't get it off your
Can you not get
wrist.
hoof cuffs?
You probably could, but I feel like you just wiggle off. They just wiggle them off.
But what if they were like really tight?
Yeah, I suppose.
You
I
can
mean,
do-
you're the one with the deer hunting equipment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
You know, fucking pasta straws, and you're having a go at me at hoof cuffs.
Yeah, hoof cuffs, pasta hoof cuffs.
Yeah.
That's how we do it in
had-
the Staffordshire Moorlands.
I had oatcakes today.
Staffordshire oatcakes. It is
Would
a
you like
cult.
to explain the incredibly creepy phenomenon that is oatcakes in the Staffordshire Moorlands?
The Staffordshire oatcake is, it's like sort of it's like a crepe, but sort of slightly thicker, usually a bit smaller, and usually they're like a breakfast food or like a snack you fill it with. Like cheese and bacon is like the common thing that like everybody has is cheese and bacon oatcakes, and they only exist in Stoke-on-Trent. If you travel for anything more than 20 minutes in any direction, you will not find them. It's like they have vanished off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
Nobody is aware of them. If you showed somebody a Staffordshire oatcake, well, is this like a little pancake? What is it? People don't understand this. So I was very happy to introduce you to the cult phenomenon
Yeah.
that is Staffordshire oatcakes. They're amazing. Try them. I mean, they're not amazing. They're good.
I had them with my breakfast,
Mm-hmm.
and it's amazing because it's like 3 layers. The first layer is an oatcake, and then as you dig further, there's bacon and tomato and a bit of egg, and then you go another layer.
Yeah,
do,
yeah.
Do you remember in Star Wars? You know the main planet in the prequels,
I think so.
Coruscant, I think it's
Yeah.
it was called, and it's got like so many layers down. That's what it was like. It was like discovering new civilizations.
I should point out that what we gave Danny was not a true oatcake.
No,
It was like a lasagna but with oatcakes
Yeah.
instead of pasta, and like breakfast items like beans and sausages and
was
stuff
beans in the
instead
bottom.
of.
I thought it was just one thing, but no, there's multiple layers. It's like an onion or an ogre.
Very nice. But yeah, the Staffordshire oatcake, typically it's a cheese and bacon miniature burrito thing.
Yeah,
They are blessed.
give them a go.
Give them a go. They're great. I like them. I met somebody once and they said that wasn't from Stoke, and they were aware of Staffordshire oatcakes. And I said, "Oh, really? How did you know about them?" And they said, "Oh, yeah, I've got a dad or an uncle or something that told me." It's like, great, yeah. What do you have on them? And they said, hummus and pomegranate. I went, no, hummus and pomegranate. And what they would do is toast an oatcake, which is quite a big thing.
Yeah.
They would tear it in half and put it in the toaster, and then take it out, spread hummus on it, put pomegranate and like salad leaves on it, then have it like a very thin flatbread. It's bizarre.
That sounds disgusting.
I mean, I like hummus and I like pomegranate, but the entire point of an oatcake is that it's unhealthy.
I like steak and chocolate, but I wouldn't put them together. You know, there are some things that just don't mix.
I tell you what, chocolate does go well in
What?
a chili. Next time you make a chili, put some dark chocolate in there.
Chocolate in a chili?
Yeah, seriously, man, it's amazing.
We'll have to. We'll do that next time on
Cooking with Shouting into the Void.
Cooking into the Void.
Cooking food in order to fill up the void in your stomach.
Chefing Void.
Chefing void.
Chef Void. Void Chef.
Chef Voyardee.
Void of chefs.
void of chefs. Yeah, it's just like Gordon Ramsay's silhouette.
It's Gordon Ramsay's soul. It's void.
God, that was like harsh.
Yeah, but he's Scottish, isn't he? Well, he says he's Scottish and he kids on with that stupid accent so no one can understand him.
Right.
An English accent.
Oh, yes. Right. Is that enough bullshit
Yes.
now? Do you feel
I'm
satisfied?
full of bullshit.
Oh, lovely stuff.
Right, okay, so
I've got my notes.
get my notes
Got
out there.
my fancy pens.
Yeah.
Ready to go. Today, we are talking about the 2018 film?
I don't know.
Oh, well, it's a film
It's a film
from
that
the
was
past
made.
few years
Yeah.
called Mother!
Mother!
Well, Mother! Exclamation mark is the title, which bugs me because it's dumb. Why, if you're going to put punctuation in a title, either... The only punctuation you'd be putting in a title is either a hyphen or a colon. Like, you know that film, Star Trek Into Darkness?
Yes.
There's no punctuation in that title, which annoys me.
Star Trek Into Darkness.
Yes, because it's Star Trek Into Darkness, which is just the worst thing.
Yes.
So you need Star Trek, Into Darkness, and then it's great. But Mother is just
Mother!
annoying, because then whenever you look at it, you think someone's just shouting Mother at you.
Yeah.
It's bizarre. I don't like it.
So Lewis really enjoyed the film.
The film was great, it's just the title's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, the film's weird too, let's be
It is
honest.
quite weird. It was directed by Darren Aronofsky.
What a name.
He also directed Black Swan
Cool.
with Natalie Portman. That was a good film. He also wrote the film, which is interesting. It's starring Jennifer Lawrence, Javier Bardem, Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yep.
Some other people.
I always find
Those are
that
the big names. Those are the three ones.
I always find that writer-directors make films to some degree are on like another level compared to just
Yeah,
like, do you know what I mean? It really elevates
it's
it.
their film. It's their vision type thing.
So we've got an opening statement about Mother.
I do. Sorry, I nearly creased that there. A disturbingly creepy and profoundly uncomfortable film from Mother Nature's point of view. If the Earth was a house and I was the owner, I would be absolutely pissed off to no end. Making the disregard for the planet a very human problem, and perspective is a good way of motivating action.
Because I didn't think about like the environment or anything watching it. That didn't even cross my
Really?
mind at all. I was like, okay, this is a biblical metaphor of some kind. This
Yeah.
is some kind of a Messiah thing.
I think it's both.
Yeah, it probably is. But I like that thing about if you were the owner of the Earth, you'd be pissed off. Because of course you would be. It's like it's like buying a house and then saying, oh, by the way, there are these little insects in the floorboards, and they're fine now, but one day they might turn into like these enormous, massive ant things that'll eat your house and like pollute it. And yeah, that's good stuff.
I agree.
That's how evolution works.
Science.
My opening statement is a complex, nebulous story which invites a hell of a lot of discussion. Hence why we're discussing it.
Yeah, I mean, he is right, I suppose.
Oh, yeah.
Can't fault him there. So, creepy room questions.
I have a creepy room complaint.
Right. That's another sub heading.
Yeah.
Creepy room complaints / questions / statements
Yeah.
/ gerbils.
/ gerbils.
Yeah.
I don't have a gerbil.
Do you not?
No. Have you got a gerbil?
Have you ever had gerbils?
I had guinea pigs for a bit.
Ah, well, that's the same thing, isn't it?
Yep.
They're all rodents.
The font is really difficult to read. The font from the title and the font that
Jesus
like
Christ, you're
stuff
going on about this title.
Yeah,
dude.
it's annoying me.
It's at the start and the end of the film.
And I was
Shit
filled with
titles
rage.
with Lewis Brindley.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Watch me talk about Travelodges next.
What about Travelodges?
Right. There is only one L in Travelodge when there should be at least two.
Right.
And a hyphen, and yet for some reason nobody is calling it Travelodge when they fucking should be.
You're like that guy in Doctor Who, the Sontaran stratagem, where he comes up with Atmos, which stands for Atmospheric Emission System.
Yeah, that's a tautology. It's atmospheric emission system.
Yeah, because people call it the Atmos system, which would mean atmospheric emission system.
Yeah, it's like saying ATM machine, or yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like that. That's exactly what it's like.
That's exactly what it's
Have
like.
you got a CRQ?
I do. Is being God just a loop?
I don't know. Because what you sort of have to think about, I suppose, if you're like an omnipotent, all living forever type being, is you probably wouldn't even perceive time at the same way that we do.
Probably not.
I don't know whether it would be a loop, but then because the logic sort of suggests it'd be you're sort of viewing everything at once in a way.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about how it's like, okay, cause and then effect. You're viewing cause and effect at the same time, essentially, because say you're stood there in Europe in the 1930s, you're experiencing both, I don't know, Paris in the 1930s, which I imagine was very cool, and then you're also experiencing like Paris in the 1940s, which was distinctly probably a much worse place to be.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's if time means nothing to you, then all of these things are happening at once for you. So a loop, I don't know, maybe a loop.
It seemed like a loop in this.
It did seem like a loop.
Because it was at the start of the film, Javier Bardem, who's I think the god figure, and this places a crystal on its place. The house sort of comes into being after being burned, and so what is going on, and then throughout the film we realise that this crystal has kept the house alive, and this woman, mother, presumably, is the sort of heartbeat of the house, and when she dies the house is like gone completely, and there's something there to sort of replace it, and it looks as if he does that every single time, because he's like, I create, that's what I am, I need to try it all over again.
That's very interesting, because I was considering, why is he doing this again and again and again? Oh, if the answer is I create, that's just who I am.
Yeah.
Which is a very sort of creative response in a way. That's the kind of thing you'd expect a professional writer to say. Is like, well, I just write. That's just what I do. I do it all the time.
I create things. That's what I am.
Yeah. That does that make sense? It's like if you are very passionate about painting and you love painting, you're going to paint. It doesn't matter if you're working 20-hour shifts or something. You're gonna want to find time to paint.
Exactly. That's fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the woman at the end who's clearly the replacement of Jennifer Lawrence. She wakes up.
Oh, I thought that was Jennifer Lawrence.
No, I think it's a different actress.
Oh, is it a different lady? Oh, that's interesting.
It might
so
it's like a different...
Because that invites even more questions, because in that sense...
Once the Earth is gone, assuming that God exists, you would think that he'd just go, fuck's sake, right, I'll just make another one then.
You'd think, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Because if that's not Jennifer Lawrence, then that asks the question, is it sort of the same...
Is it this
spirit in a sense? Is it the same sort of entity,
people,
mother, but it's a different, or is it a commentary on how a lot of people can fulfill the same role in society without necessarily being the same person, sort of thing?
And will it play out exactly the same, or will it play out differently?
Like
reach the same end point?
Like the doctor who had, was it lung cancer or something?
Yeah.
The doctor who had lung cancer and his wife Michelle Pfeiffer, when they got to the house and they damaged the crystal, if they hadn't have damaged the crystal, would the rest of the film have happened? If Javier Bardem had nailed his office door shut on a whim before they even arrived, just like, you know what I'm going to do today? Nail my office door shut. And they hadn't gone in and they hadn't destroyed this crystal, which is like a representation of Jennifer Lawrence's kindness or something, or Jennifer Lawrence's love for him.
I think it's almost like the forbidden fruit in Genesis, where, you know, Adam and Eve are created or arrive, and the office is maybe like the garden of Eden, and they break or they touch the fruit that you're not meant to, and then he banishes them, and then things steadily get worse and worse and worse.
That's an interesting way to view it as well, because when that Jennifer Lawrence line where she says he doesn't like people going in there without him, meaning her husband, father, or Javier Bardem doesn't like people going into this study when he's not in the study.
Yeah.
Which is very Garden of Eden, isn't it?
Yeah. And they refer to him as he's a writer.
Yeah.
And the work is obviously the Bible that is worshipped and revered by many, many people.
To be entirely honest, I thought that he was an interior decorator. Because of how the film starts, he puts that crystal in the thing and the house just...
Yeah.
I presumed, he's an interior decorator. Until they started calling him the poet. I was like, yep, he's writing about interior decorating. He's writing interior decorating articles.
Because it's her that built the house. That's what they say, because obviously it's her essence that is making it. So,
But it gave me a smile every now and then. I was like, yep, Javier Bardem, the interior decorator.
I would like to have Javier Bardem as my interior decorator.
Be very intense, wouldn't it?
On you go. Just see what needs doing.
What do you reckon Javier Bardem would do to this room, for example? For the viewer who cannot see this room, there is a sofa, which is like this, but longer. There's a TV.
Give it a clean.
Give it a clean. Yeah, that's reasonable. We've moved a load of stuff around the place to get this glorious setup. We've moved loads of stuff everywhere.
Get that.
Television?
Dead donkey in the corner away.
Yep. It's one of the donkey. It's actually, I bought that for £30 million.
Wow.
Yeah, it's from 1917. It's one of those dead horses from No Man's Land. Yeah. I thought it would give the room some ambience, and it does.
Is it not from Warhorse?
No. I specifically requested that this be a 1917 horse.
Right, fair enough. Yeah. Those sort of distinctions are important.
They are, yes.
Yeah.
So now it sits in the corner of this living room.
Yeah, just rotting away.
Just in case any of the lawyers from 1917 are listening. Or, I don't know,
or just
some kind of health code official.
Concerned citizen.
Any concerned citizen. I do not have a dead horse in my living room.
Well, you never know, will you?
No, you won't.
You may as well look into it.
If you live near me, come and peer over my garden fence. Open the back gate. He's got a dead horse in his back garden. What's he doing?
Anyway, much like John Wick, because of the way those people treated the house, anything that Mother did was completely justified for me. Let's see when they killed the dog in John Wick. I don't care how gratuitous it became.
Yeah.
John was in the right. And the way they treated and made a mess of that house, they all deserve death.
Because it is a gorgeous house.
It's brilliant. And Michelle Pfeiffer walking about fucking making lemon vodkas, and there's just mess everywhere. I'm just like, I just want to kill these people, you know?
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's, I don't know if I'd go for It's Like John Wick, because a horrible thing happens to John Wick, and it's like, unleash the beast in a way. But like with Mother, it's sort of a horrible thing happens to Jennifer Lawrence and then keeps happening to her. And these things keep getting worse and worse, and then by the end it's this fucking surreal, bizarre ritual where all these people are standing around eating a baby. What the fuck? But yeah, the horrible things happen to her and then continue to happen to her for the whole duration of the film.
And it sort of pushes her to see that baby scene?
Yeah.
Oh my fuck. That was the way it was like going around, and then it was screaming, and then its head crack. Oh, it's really.
It's I'm not a very squeamish person with gore and stuff like that. The things that get me are like guts. Like I can deal with like any amount of blood or stuff in a film, like but just guts get me. It's like that's like a baby's guts. That's really horrible.
Innocent child being, and it parroted like communion.
Yeah,
because it is a belief that in the Catholic religion that if you eat this wafer, as it goes into your mouth, it becomes the body of Christ. He gave, his life for our sins. Which I think is just, I don't think anyone's really stopped to think about how pretty weird that is.
It is a bit weird. It's
you're eating the body of your God every week. It's like,
I think I wrote somewhere that it's like if you sort of analyze any of these sort of traditions outside, well, not necessarily any Catholic traditions, but any tradition at all really outside of your presupposed sort of opinions about them, they are really weird and kind of barbaric in a way. On the 24th of December every year, a man breaks into your house and steals food.
Yes.
And he leaves some things for you, but if his personal opinion is that you've been a dickhead.
He will leave
You're
you
getting a lump of coal.
Yeah.
Or nothing.
He can see. He knows what you do
Mm.
all the time.
He sees you when you're
He
sleeping.
knows when you're awake.
Creepy as hell.
He can see everything you do.
Mm-hmm.
And Jesus Christ. He's watching now. He's watching the podcast.
What, Santa?
You know, and yeah.
I've been a good boy.
As creepy as it is, folks, even Santa realised that I'm speaking to this mic. I keep looking at the mic as if I'm actually distinguishing. Yeah, but he chose to watch us rather than listen to us. So it's just another wee dig at those.
Ah, yes.
Those suckers.
Oh God, right. My long list of questions and statements, and Christ.
I can't think of anyone better to play God
than Javier Bardem.
Yeah, I used to think that Morgan Freeman was the perfect God, but Javier Bardem was just fantastic.
I suppose the distinction between a Morgan Freeman God and because Morgan Freeman's played God quite a few times.
Yeah.
And a Javier Bardem sort of para-God in this is a Morgan Freeman God is typically very sort of benevolent and very sort of New Testament God.
Yeah.
But a Javier Bardem God like this was sort of just a being that things were happening to.
Yes.
Like lots of things happened to him and around him, and he had opinions and he was a flawed person. Like when he said, "I don't want them to go. I don't want them to tell them to go away," sort of thing.
Yeah.
It is weird.
It's like it's interesting that God loves us so much that he allows the planet or his wife to be abused and hurt for these creatures that he's created. It's pretty dark.
Oh,
think
yeah.
about it. And mothers like it's a criminal chase. Mothers like you didn't love me, you only loved how much I loved you.
Sure.
Which is even worse.
Yeah.
It's like loving worship and pretending to be in a relationship with someone because you enjoy being worshipped is...
It's a flawed character trait,
very
yeah.
flawed.
It's, when you actually do start to consider these things, yeah, when you start to consider, the reason that people do all the praying and do all the, I dedicate my life to God, to some degree, it's out of fear, I've always thought.
Yeah.
And that's my main sort of problem with it, I think, is at what point does this being, why does this being want me to live my life in fear of their will?
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to go to hell, so I had better do this, or do you know what I mean? I don't get that. That does not for me.
I mean, if you read the Old Testament, it is chock full with horrific stories.
I'm sure.
Like, there's one specific story, Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yes.
Where God has determined that a city is to be destroyed because it is so full of sin, and Abraham sort of barters with God and says, if there are 100 good men in the city, will you spare it? And he whittles it down to, what if there was only one good person in the city? Would you spare it then? And God says, no, but I will spare that man and his family. So
that seems like a flawed system.
Yeah, so God sends 2 angels
Okay.
to Sodom to collect the family.
Yeah.
And the angels say, we shall sleep in the middle of the square. And the only just man comes out and says, no, you can't. You can't, because the men of the city are so wicked that they will have their way with you.
Okay.
So he is saying, no, you can't stay out here because every single man will rape you
Right.
in the street. So he brings the angels into his house. He has 2 daughters and a wife, and he also has 2 sons. Who they're not there; they're somewhere else in the city. But apparently, they don't want to rape the angels.
Yeah.
So there's a continuity errors, and all the men gather around Lot's house,
Right.
and say, "We give us those angels, please." And Lot is like, "No, you can't. Have my daughters instead."
That does not seem like the mark of a quality father.
Yeah, and they say, "No, we only want the angels."
Well, surely
So the only just man in the city offers his daughters in place of these angels.
But surely that's like a bad personality trait. Because, like, I mean, yeah, but my point is, not even if it wasn't for, like, raping, still, he's assigning value to the angels' lives through an accident of birth.
Yes.
Or divine creation, or however an angel's made. So, it doesn't make much sense to me.
And they leave the city, and God commands them, as I destroy it, do not look back. And the mother looks back, and turns into a pillar of salt.
Right.
So
that's strange.
I mean, I hear so often, it's so, it's not an argument that you hear. It's not about the stories. It's about what they mean. It's about the symbol of what the fuck does that mean? Not to be so I am quite cynical. And but what is that? I don't understand what that.
It's a strange story, and I don't think I get it either.
No, but it's an interesting way to look at God, rather than just this person who is or this being who is. He is right because he is God. It's like maybe we should be scrutinizing God a little bit more.
And that was always something that was spoken about of, like, the Greek gods and Roman gods and stuff, because they were all, well, not scrutinized as such, because they were worshipped, but they were flawed people.
Yeah.
There was openly sort of spoken that, like, Zeus slept around a lot and he cheated on his wife.
They didn't pretend to be benevolent and reasonable.
Yeah.
But God does pretty unreasonable things and claims benevolence.
I have a CRQ.
Go on.
It's not to do with gods.
Fair enough.
So you can listen to this one. Would you live in a house in the middle of nowhere like that house?
No.
Neither would I. It's terrifying.
I mean, anyone could break in.
Yeah.
Where do you get your food? Like, is there shops around?
Presuming there's, like, a Tesco that's, like, such a drive away that it's not inconvenient, but it's not convenient either. It's like, right. Wednesday again, got to go to Tesco.
40 minutes.
Yeah, 40-minute drive to Tesco. And there's
every week.
Every week for your weekly shop.
But because where I live, there's like a supermarket very close
to
where I stay, so it's good. Like, even if you just miss it, just I can't be bothered today. We'll go tomorrow. But if it's a 40-minute drive and you've finished your shopping for the week, you can't really afford not to go. And you might not have enough. I mean, you can't phone in a takeaway, can you? Because the nearest one will be fucking miles away. So I wouldn't want to live. I think that people say, "Oh, yeah, I'd love to live in a secluded countryside." Really? Would you though?
I don't mind the countryside so much, but what I mind is, like, that house had, like, it was the house, and then around it was like a flat plain.
Yeah.
Sort of quite far, and then immediately it was a very densely wooded forest. So the idea was that if you were stood anywhere in the house and you looked out the window, you can see a flat ground and then nothing in amongst the trees.
Yeah.
Just like, what the hell is... I would hate that.
Yeah.
Because I would spend every night looking out of the windows and thinking, there's a murderer in those trees.
Yeah,
He's coming to murder me.
Or a bear.
Or a bear!
Just a million other things out there. But I suppose it's because, thankfully, I don't know. I'm sure there's someone out there that lives like that. But I think it was sort of meant to represent the sort of, this is paradise and everything else outside is peasants.
The densely wooded forest is peasants.
Yes. Does this film support misanthropy?
Misanthropy is, of course, hatred of...
human beings.
Oh, okay. I suppose it sort of does in a way. It sort of implies that all human beings... Because if we're if we're assuming that Javier Bardem and Jennifer Lawrence are not human beings, Javier Bardem being God and Jennifer Lawrence being Mother Nature or something like that, then yes, I'd say it does promote hatred of human beings, because they spread the good word to human beings, and immediately there are, like, wars being fought in their house and stuff. Immediately everything goes bad. So yeah, I suppose it sort of does.
Good.
Yep. I have a note here, which this is before I decided that Javier Bardem was definitely God. I get that Bardem is a tortured genius or whatever, but why is he being such a dick?
A lot of geniuses are dicks, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a stereotype.
I don't know.
It seems like it.
Mm.
It can't be that every single genius is an arsehole.
Well, I'm an arsehole, but I'm not a genius, so I can't speak for that.
Yeah, me as well. I'm a massive arsehole,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not a genius. But I suppose if you're incredibly intelligent, you probably wouldn't see morality in the same way, would you?
No, I suppose you wouldn't, because you'd start viewing everything all at the same time and think, okay, well, this is a bit intense.
Yeah.
Why am I viewing morality in this very specific way?
Yeah.
When
Good and bad when it seems a bit more sort of natural, selective-y.
Definitely. Have you got any other CRQs?
I do. Let's see. You know the cut on the man as they're in the toilet?
Yeah, when he was thrown up.
Yeah,
I didn't get that. What was that?
I think that's a sort of... it's alluring to the rib being taken from Adam.
Oh, okay, to
create
make
Eve, because then
Oh.
Michelle Pfeiffer shows up.
Okay, yeah,
after
that's
it, which is another
clever
sort of
and interesting and a bit weird.
hitting home this sort of biblical metaphor, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. It's not really a question, it's more of a statement.
No, but it is a cool statement. I like it.
Creepy room statement.
I do think that at the point at which, before I realised that this film was like a loop, I thought, well, does Jennifer Lawrence just spend her time running around this house essentially on her own, and her husband is sat in that study writing, and she's just like decorating and cleaning and decorating and like, is she not? That's kind of a nightmare, right? That huge, enormous house in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, that was one of the questions I actually had. It's like I'm firmly on the side of Jennifer Lawrence's character.
Oh yeah.
But if she got her way, wouldn't it just be shit?
It would be shit. You're right.
Nobody showed up, and it's just her and Javier Bardem just sitting about, lazing in the sun. Oh, shall we go to the forest today? No. There might be a bear in there.
There might be a bear or a murderer. No, you're right. It would be shit, but on the same level, people turning up in your house and ripping your sink off the wall, ripping your phone off the wall, which was a bit of an intense way to do things. Because what's he going to do with that? Is he going to put it on his own wall at home?
You can't really use it then, can you?
No.
It looks as if it was connected to the house, and he's just ripped the... I want a phone for my YouTube videos.
I want a phone for my study. And then just rips it off the wall of the poet's house.
Yes, the poet.
God, what a weird thing. Oh my god, I've got so many quotes here. Why didn't you just build a new house? I seem to think that was important for some reason. Although that is an interesting point now that I consider it a bit more. Michelle Pfeiffer said, after they revealed to her that the house burned down and then Jennifer Lawrence rebuilt it and painted it and decorated it and everything, Michelle Pfeiffer says, well, why didn't you just build a new home? Why didn't you just build a new house? And he says, well, this is where he lives.
Yeah.
It's an interesting... Going back to your environmental argument, it makes an interesting point about how if it is an environmental thing, then is Michelle Pfeiffer the person saying, why don't we just go to Mars and live on Mars and then fuck that planet up and go to the next one and go to the next one and go to the next one?
That's true. Which maybe it's better that it is just the same house being remade over and over and over again.
Because if it's the same house being remade, then at least Javier Bardem is trying to solve the problem.
Yes.
He's not just sort of sat there thinking, well, yeah, I guess she's right, move on to the next planet, fuck that one up, and then, you know what I mean?
I agree. This is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Do you and I and we deserve extinction?
Oh, I don't know. I think the problem with speaking in such broad terms as deserve extinction is that, I personally can't do anything, really, to save the planet in my lifetime. Yeah. I can recycle, and I can use my multiple-use water bottle, and I can do all that sort of stuff, yeah, but on the same level, that's not going to change the world in any meaningful way.
Yeah.
But living in this economy, in this world, it's a moral impossibility.
Yeah.
Because if you go to Tesco, Aldi, Sainsbury's, Morrison's, whatever, and you buy a tin of Napolina chopped tomatoes, a tenth of a penny of what you paid for a pound of a tin of chopped tomatoes or whatever, a tenth of a penny might go to the Napolina's CEO, and the Napolina CEO is, I don't know, say he's a massive racist or something.
Yeah.
Then, if you are isolating each individual incident, then you're contributing money to a racist, in that sense.
That's true.
But on the same level,
But
you're just trying to feed your family.
Yeah, exactly.
It's... I don't know how we got to this point, but yes.
We do.
But I don't think we deserve extinction, because to speak in terms of do we deserve extinction...
That sort of gives credence to that there are objectively right and wrong things to do, which I don't know that there are. I think it's more...
grey.
Yeah, we've created it because it suits a great number of people to not kill and steal, but there's not an inherent universal law that says no, you can't do that. For many people and many species on this planet, it actually is pretty useful to do that very thing. So
that's the thing about extinction. Speaking in, this will take me ages to get this point out because I'm tripping over my own words, but the problem with viewing it as an extinction thing is the implication is that humanity is deliberately deciding to destroy the planet.
Yeah.
And while, don't get me wrong, there are people out there who are like pumping toxic waste directly into the mouth of blue whales and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There are also people like, say, me, who are just trying to live a life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I end up accidentally donating a quarter of a penny to the Patreon CEO and he uses that money to go fox hunting, then that doesn't mean that I endorse fox hunting. Do you know what I mean?
It's like try to use guilt by association.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Excellent.
Right, now that I think about it and I'm looking through my notes again, do you think the Michelle Pfeiffer character has more depth and stuff to her than what was originally revealed on a first watch?
Yeah, because I thought when I first watched it that she was just an arse, essentially, but I think that there's something that's haunting her character.
Yeah.
Something that's not being talked about.
Because she's sort of like a casual alcoholic in a way.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, I've made some lemonade, it's a family recipe. And she drinks, goes, oh, that's strong, that's really alcoholic sort of thing.
Yeah.
But she says these ridiculous statements like, why don't you want kids? That's what keeps a marriage going. What? That's the ridiculous...
Yeah.
What kind of a thing? Like, if you have a bad marriage and you introduce a child, then you're just inflicting your bad marriage upon your child, who is sinless in a way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That just seems like a bizarre thing for her to say. And is she meant to represent some kind of malignancy of like the human spirit or something?
Maybe.
I have no idea.
I mean, I assumed that she was Eve and her husband was Adam, and the two brothers were Cain and Abel, and Cain kills Abel, and then the world starts to go bad. So maybe she's jealous that God or the God-like being loves this person who maybe Eve sees as inferior. So you're just the ground that we walk on. You're just things. You're just resources to be used up. So maybe that has something. I don't know. I couldn't say. But the sort of lemons being disregarded around the house and just mess. So maybe that's like anything natural that I use will just be used up and then disregarded. Because she is Jennifer Lawrence's character is treated not even in the sort of getting beat up and your baby getting killed.
Weird. That was weird.
Yeah, but like you can just tell that the two people at the beginning just sort of look at her with sort of disdainful indifference almost.
Yeah, which
so
I didn't.
They just sort of look past her and just like, here's my coat, and just sort of this disregard. And I think that's hitting home another idea of like, maybe we should just care a bit more about the world that's keeping us alive, and we shouldn't take it for granted as much.
There is the question of, wouldn't you just go? Leave the house and go?
Yeah.
Because if you were in Jennifer Lawrence's shoes, your husband is inviting random people to stay as long as they like in your house. You've told him many times, no, don't do that. He's a weird psychopath bloke. The people that have come to stay in your house are weird. Wouldn't you just, at some point or another, you just say, right, no, we're going. This is ridiculous. I'm not having it.
But she is the house, in a way.
Yeah, she sort of is.
Like, there's these scenes where there's like you can see her heart beating in the walls, almost as if like she's part of the house, and then when she dies, all the sort of light, the twinges of flame just sort of disappear.
Yeah.
And it's just this husk of a house, and it's only her heart that can sort of keep everything,
sustain the house.
Yeah, so maybe she can't leave because it's the planet, you know. She is the planet. She can't just abandon it or abandon herself. You know, it's the people that are the problem. They're the ones. Why should I have to leave my own house for these?
I suppose
humans?
This is the that if you go into this film expecting to watch people do things, you're not going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's what I was sort of watching this thinking, oh, it's a film where people do things. But no, it's a visual metaphor from start to end. It's not... It's talking about something really different. It's weird.
Yeah. It brings big problems into a sort of like human sphere of perspective, but at the same time it's like... I thought it was going to be your typical... Oh, it's a drama, but they don't really like her. Oh no, wait, no, there's a baby now. There's wars happening.
Yeah, everything went tits up very quickly.
Yeah,
very quickly.
It was a big precipice that we were shoved off. But you know, weird film.
Oh yeah, very weird film.
That's one of my notes. It's a weird one, isn't it?
I actually wrote down at one point, a man died in the baby's room. The room that they put the baby in is a room where a man was murdered.
Yes.
That's
a bit strange.
That's insane. If you could even stand to stay in the house after someone had been murdered in your house, you're not going to put your fucking baby in there.
No, definitely not.
I think at best you'd relegate it to a storage room.
Yeah.
Even if it was like a living room, you'd relegate it to a storage room.
I'm not going to have people in this room where someone has been brutally savaged. So yeah.
Have you got... Oh yeah, that's another question. What's the powder?
Yeah.
The yellow powder.
She kept putting stuff in her drink and it sort of healed her. Almost. I don't know. I don't know what that's meant to represent. Pollen, maybe? Or
maybe the bees?
Yeah. Do you like bees?
Oh, God.
I don't know. I don't know what that was meant to... Life force, maybe? Just... I don't... We'll never know that one.
We'll never know.
You'll never know. None of you will know.
None of you will know? I don't know.
It's forbidden knowledge. But yeah.
Why... Do you think that the film would have been made better or worse if we'd have seen what was written on the paper? What the poet's poem was?
No, because I think that would... Like, you would be forced to sort of relegate it to one religion or one faith.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think it's not really about... I think it's more just about the Abrahamic religion, so that it could be Christianity, it could be Catholicism, it could be Islam, it could be Judaism, it could be any of them. And sort of maybe making it only one thing might dampen the meaning a little bit.
I tell you something I was quite impressed by was the fact that, as far as I could sort of tell, nobody in the film really had a name.
Yes.
At no point did anybody really shout any names, or like I think the brothers might have called each other something, but
I can't remember anyone's name.
I don't think they called each other a name in the sense of like Lewis. I think they called each other like swear words.
Yes.
To hurt each other's feelings.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The poet, Jennifer Lawrence didn't even have a name. She wasn't referred to as anything really. It's just really the poet. The baby, or the son.
Yeah.
I'm his mother, I'm his father, I'm his son. You know, Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit.
Yeah. Have you got any more questions?
I think I'm running out quite rapidly. So, no, I don't think so.
No, I've got a closing statement. I've got some bizarre stuff about, is he trapped? Is it a weird thing? But I think we've managed to explore most of my weird thoughts about this sort of stuff.
Yeah. Should we jump straight to the closing statements?
Oh,
then?
go on.
Go on then. A haunting depiction of our worst impulses, greed, tribalism, fanaticism, and disregard for others. A humbling image of humanity. We forget that this world really is as small as a house compared to the universe. So maybe we should look after it a wee bit more.
A chilling parable on the effects of extreme fame and religion. This film could be talked about and at great length. Any number of weird things could be concocted to explain the events. The most interesting question, I think, to me is, what is Bardem's motivation? Is it some kind of a scientific experiment? Is it some kind of a fun, enjoyable thing for him? What's he doing?
Yeah.
I think it's a good film. I enjoyed watching it. It's weird.
As did I.
Oh well. So.
Well, that's us.
That concludes the actual part of the podcast. We've got to do
Yes.
some aggressive shilling. Is that what comes next?
Yeah. I'm on Instagram at O'Hiram.
Yep.
I'm on Facebook at Daniel Kerr. I'm on Twitter at Kerzo2000.
Very nice. I am Instagram at Lewis_Brindley. I am Twitter Lewis_Brindley4. I am on Facebook as Lewis Brindley. I have a Facebook page.
Yes.
I don't know how to use that, so
there you
see if
go.
you can find me.
We're on Podomatic.
Yep.
We're on Spotify.
Yep.
We're on Apple Podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
We've got Patreon.
We do?
We've got a PayPal donate button. We might be on Deezer.
Yes.
But who
I have
knows?
no idea. I don't know how to find that out.
Yeah.
I haven't had any kind of correspondence. I clicked a yes, please.
That's it.
We might be. I don't know.
And, you should definitely watch the live action version of this.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I think it's a great thing that I wouldn't want you to miss.
Oh, definitely.
So what are we doing next week for episode 21, Lewis?
We're going to do a classic film,
Yes.
Taxi Driver.
Yes.
One of your favourites, I think.
It certainly is. It certainly is.
I look forward to talking about taxis.
So do I.
And Robert De Niro.
Taxis are great.
Well, thank you very much for listening.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I'll see you next week.
See you next week.